The United Kingdom released a new national security strategy and strategic defense and security review last week, both with the foremost intention of making cuts to the budget and force structure of the Ministry of Defense and bring British defense spending in line with fiscal realities. Now that they have laid out on paper what they hope to achieve, the real challenge moving forward will be implementation. The national security strategy makes clear choices and prioritizes specific threats as a way to guide the strategic defense and security review's cuts of specific programs and changes to the force structure of the British Army, Royal Navy, and Royal Air Force. The cuts are significant, especially as the United Kingdom continues to prioritize extremely expensive operations in Afghanistan and probably will continue to do so until around 2015. But they are an attempt to both cut spending and reshape the Ministry of Defense in order to craft a more agile and flexible military force for the 21st century. One of the biggest challenges will be implementation. It is one thing to mandate these cuts on paper, but another entirely to actually institute them in the face of concerted opposition and institutional inertias. One of the other challenges has been and will continue to be clear-headed, long-term strategic thinking on a 10 to 20-year horizon is very difficult. By comparison, during the Cold War, the threat environment was defined overwhelmingly by 50,000 Soviet and Warsaw Pact tanks poised west of the Urals. By comparison, the post-Cold War security environment, especially at a strategic level, has been defined by uncertainty. A lot of the 90s were characterized by peacekeeping and stability operations. The early 21st century has been defined by the threat of transnational jihad and extremism. But none of this provides much clarity in terms of what future threats are likely to look like. What this means is that, like other militaries on both sides of the Atlantic, the British are trying to craft a military that has a broad spectrum of capabilities, that is agile, adaptable, and flexible. But the real challenge is not identifying these specific reforms so much as institutionalizing them and achieving them in bureaucracies and institutions that are still shaped and defined by the Cold War. Whether the National Security Strategy and Strategic Defense and Security Review can actually achieve the goals and changes that they've set out remains to be seen. But because of the sweep and scope of these reports, both the United States and many European militaries will be watching the British efforts very closely.